Hello and welcome back to Bin Day Brewing Company. We're in my new house here, in case you're wondering what's going on. And the news now is that we are brewing another beer. So this video is to give you the details of what we have been up to. A lot of you remember we've brewed one beer so far. We brewed a beer called Valencian Tip Run with the legends up at Doc's Beers in Grimsby. And we always thought, after we brewed one beer, that more people would get in touch and opportunities would open up once people knew what we're doing. And so I got an email from a guy called Alex who works in marketing for a brewery called S43, which is up in County Durham. Excellent brewery. And he sent us down some beers, said, do you fancy doing something? We said, absolutely yes. We were keen to move things on a bit from our previous beer, because first of all we did a pale ale. We wanted it to be as accessible as possible to everyone, so we wanted to try and see if we can do something to move things along a bit and also help educate people along the way about different beer styles, because I know a lot of the guys and girls who are watching this channel and watching this content aren't necessarily massive craft beer geeks, so we thought we'd move it along. But luckily marketing Alex had a plan when we had a Zoom call with him.
One of the things that we picked up on last time that you mentioned was around like the idea of educating people, and tell me if I'm wrong, but with that we came up with a bit of a concept here, and it wasn't just even just doing the one brew, it was potentially doing two brews, a similar style but with enough difference to show the difference between, and it was leaning in towards the IPA style. But with IPAs you've got the likes of New England IPA and you've got a West Coast IPA, and they are two very different beasts, and we thought it'd be quite interesting just for you guys. It's not particularly, they can be really out there and we can do some incredible flavors and some incredible things with them, but it's quite a nice education piece to your potential audience to understand a bit more about what the difference is between New England and the West Coast. And Alex is definitely the best placed person to explain the difference between the two. But that was
absolutely an idea. Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. Yeah. So how does it work? So you do two brews, one after the other, sort of thing. Is that the thinking?
Yeah, so because we tend to release beers in batches of two, we thought, they're brewed pretty close together typically. And so there's a pretty new hop called Talus. That's an experimental hop. It's just gotten named last year. And so I've got some on contract. I haven't used any yet. And so that was kind of the idea was, it's a interesting hop because it works well as a West Coast hop, a bit more traditional, but it's also used in a lot of kind of hazy IPAs, a lot of the newer stuff. So my thought was it'd be interesting to make Talus the kind of the main point, and then you can see it expressed in two very different ways, and see, so Talus would be the main hop used, but it's going to come out very differently because of all the other differences in the beer style. So I thought from an educational standpoint, that might be really interesting for people. I know I really like tasting hops, the same hop, but in like different expressions. And so obviously with the West Coast and then the East Coast, you could release them together with that the Talus would be the main tie-in, but they'd be two very different beers. So that's one idea that we had talked about.
That's a terrific idea. I think that's really interesting to do that. And again, it does help. It moves it along a bit, but also helps educate people who are new to the World Cup. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
A tale of two Taluses.
Yeah.
Working title. So it's decided we're brewing two beers, two different IPAs, using the same base hop of Talus. One of them is a West Coast IPA and one of them an East Coast or New England IPA. So with that in mind, we wanted to get into the details of how we're going to involve you guys in it. Because when we brewed our first beer, we did everything without really announcing it. We set up the company, we brewed the pilot batch, we brewed the main batch. We've done pretty much everything before we announced that we had started a brewery. But this time around, we wanted to involve people as much as possible. So we had a chat with Alex Brewer. There's, just to fill you in, most people at S43 are called Alex. It's easier to call someone Alex and apologise if you're wrong than it is to remember everyone's names. Alex the Brewer, he had some good thoughts about what we can do to move things along and get people involved.
We got so much great engagement with our community the first time, with people, throwing us ideas, doing this, doing that. And we were wondering if there's any mechanism this time that we can engage people with the process in some way or another. And I think that will also help keep levels of interest really high. So I think first time round, it was also new and fabulous and exciting that, you know, we could just talk at people and they would love that. But if there's any way you guys can think of anything you guys have done in the past that have really helped sort of engage the community and make it more of a two-way process, I think that would also be really helpful in helping us keep the interest levels high and helping sell the beer.
I think that sounds really interesting. I think the obvious way which I can think of is making them, well, I don't know how much we want to give them, but in terms of letting them make the decisions in terms of the type of beer that we go for next, potentially.
If you give people a free reign to name it, they'll call it Beery McBeerface, like almost certainly that. But I think if you give people options,
Not a bad name.
It's not a bad name. It's not a bad name. I'm not saying it's done. But I think if you do give them options, whether that's saying we're going to brew one of these three styles or something like that, what would you do? What would you like to do? Then I think that could be a good way to do it. Or even these are three name ideas. This is different things. I think giving them criteria is I think the future.
If you were looking to do some engagement, there's a few things during the brew day that you could literally be like, okay, do you guys, throw it out and be like, do you want us to put this hop in now or this hop in? Or, do you want Robbie to clean the mash tun out or do you want Michael to clean them? There's like a few things that they're not like big decisions, but if you're trying to do some engagement, I could see where, you could do a bit of that on the actual brewing day.
That'd be fantastic. That's a great idea. I think I've done a thing on Twitch where I did just a homebrew live brew thing, and there's very few people doing good food and drink content on Twitch. I think it's a real untapped market thing, and we're getting quite a lot of viewers in sort of Twitch terms on that sort of thing, getting quite engaged in it. So I think that'd be a terrific idea. Yeah, I think the obviously the issue might be sound for a bit, but I'm sure it won't be too bad if we can just find bits to come and shout at people. A lot of the time you just leave it on in the background, just go and see them every now and then.
Yeah.
I mean, with the engagement, for instance, if we said, okay, we're going to do a West Coast IPA and an East Coast IPA, Talus will be the main hop. That leaves everything else up for discussion, up for engagement. So, you could put up a poll on the West Coast IPA. What other hops do you want us to use? Cascade, Centennial, Citra, Simcoe. And then the same thing with the East Coast. You could even do some malt selections as well. So there would still be, I think, a decent amount of room for engagement. I think flavor profiles wise, so Talus is really interesting because it can have a lot of pink grapefruit and citrus. Then it also has a back end of some tropical fruit and even like a little bit of sage. So in the West Coast version, it would be more of a traditional American hop profile. So we'd be lending heavily to the citrus, the grapefruit, dry, bitter, crisp, all those kinds of things. And then we can build another hop profile around it to support the Talus. So again, Cascade and Centennial, Simcoe, some more traditional ones. And then on the East Coast route, it would be a much softer texture, much less bitterness, and then go with a lot more of the softer fruits and more tropical fruits. So be pushing more of the mango, papaya, peachy, apricot flavors. And so you'll still have some of that grapefruitiness coming from the Talus, but then we'll support it with more East Coast type hop flavors of that softer tropical kind of goodness.
So that's the plan. We are going to live stream the brewing of these beers, and we're going to let you guys decide what we do to a degree. You can't say do a wee in the mash tun or stuff like that, but we'll give choices. We'll give choices about what hops get added, what quantities, and we'll have Alex Brewer there to explain the implications of what happens. So if you do this, that will affect the taste in this way. Some of that things. We also have fun things like who's going to have to clean out the mash tun, an English mic, and things like that. So plenty of options for things that we can do there. The first brew is going to be on Wednesday, the 11th of August. That's the Wednesday coming. So probably start about 9 a.m. So tune in there if you fancy it, and you can help us brew a beer together. It's going to be streamed live to my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Robbie Knox FC, where you can vote on things and decide things there. We've also got another Twitch stream coming up this Sunday, so earlier than the other one, because essentially myself and Mike are going to the London Craft Beer Festival to do a bit of filming on Friday the 13th of August, this Friday coming. I had a phone call with the guys who organise it, absolute legends by the way, lovely people, And said we're coming down, and we said, look, we'd like to invite a couple of people who watch the content and who like the beers and stuff to come down and have a beer with us. So we said, can we give away a pair of tickets? And they said, no, give away 5 pairs of tickets. So we have essentially on Sunday evening, on my Twitch channel, we are going to be giving away 5 pairs of tickets to come down to the Friday evening session of the London Craft Beer Festival. Now you have to be 18 or over to do this. You have to be able to get to London yourself. It's an evening session. They've got some of the best breweries around in there. Verdant are there, Daya, Lervig, Northern Monk, loads of them, absolutely loads of them, others as well. Big long list on the website if you want to go and have a look at that. And once you're in there, all your beer is free for the session, and you get a nice little celebratory glass you can keep as well. So head over to our Twitch, 8 p.m. Sunday evening, and you can be in a chance to win those. We'll also have a meetup down there if anyone's going anyway. We'll have a little meetup, so anyone who wants to come and have a beer with us, we'll arrange a time and a place to be there, and we can all just have a little schlurp together. Also, I think the guys who run the festival are going to give us a discount code for you guys as well, which we'll have on Sunday, hopefully. So if anyone does want to come and doesn't win tickets, you can buy your own and still come and join us for a little beer down there. Brilliant. Well, thanks for watching. A lot of homework for you guys to do this week. You got to watch the stream on Sunday to win beer tickets, festival tickets, and you got to watch the stream on Wednesday for the S43 Brew Day Live. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with an update soon. But yeah, see you Sunday and Wednesday, hopefully.